guys, welcome to the 4th episode of Subtrending. My name is Jessica, and on the show today we have Thomas, Dan, and Emily. So, we're gonna go right into it today because I'm really excited. There were so many trailers this week, and there were 4 big ones. And I was not equally excited because there was one that I was less excited about, but all the other 3, I was just like, yes, this is so good that this is happening. I want to see you show me more. So the 4 trailers that we're going to be talking about are Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the new Suicide Squad trailer, the new Game of Thrones trailer, and then the premiere of Doctor Strange. So I guess just let's go down the line first and everybody say what your favorite trailer was.
Oh man, it would be tough, but I would say definitely Game of Thrones. It didn't sound like it was that tough for me, did it? No, yeah, definitely Game of Thrones. Not a whole lot revealed in it. There were some things, but just really got me pumped for it. Looks like there's going to be a lot going on.
How about you, Dan?
I'm going to agree with Thomas. Game of Thrones, all the way.
Not surprising, but Game of Thrones.
Ooh, clear. You know what? I was debating. I was kind of on the edge, and I was maybe going to go with Game of Thrones, but now just to shake things up, I'm going to say Suicide Squad.
That was my second. It was really hard for me to choose between those two, but...
I don't believe you.
But the thing is Suicide Squad, I'm preemptively excited about. I'm not throwing my all into it because I don't want to get heartbroken if it's bad.
Yes.
But Game of Thrones is I know it's going to be amazing and it's going to rock my world, so I am so excited.
Yeah. I completely agree with that because, up until this last Suicide Squad trailer, I wasn't super into it.
Same.
I was this is, and there are certain characters that in Suicide Squad that I kind of find tacky and certain ways they were doing it, and so I was kind of on edge about the whole thing. But I saw this last trailer, and I also love the song Ballroom Blitz, and so seeing all of the action and a little bit of the chat between people. I don't know, it got me excited. But let's talk a little bit more about Game of Thrones, because that was all 3 of your guys' favorite.
Yeah, I think it did kind of address a little bit of what we're going to see this season. It looks like some of the battles they're talking about are going to be in the north. I think Davos was spotted with Stark banners, which is pretty exciting for people who want to see that stuff go down soon. So I think that would be really cool.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Probably what's going to happen is that Davos is going to go to regroup with Littlefinger and all them, and then the loyal people of the North are going to go rally around the Eyrie and try to kick out the assholes.
Right, and we know who's in the Eyrie too is Sansa, so
that's one. Yeah,
looks like they're all kind of converge there. And I imagine Davos isn't going to be super welcome at the Wall after what's happened. So
yeah, well, it does show him defending Jon Snow's body or whatever.
Right, in the clip that was on Conan.
Do you think he's defending it, or do you think he's stealing it? I don't know.
Probably, definitely defending it,
yes.
But, then maybe stealing it?
Because I feel that's what's going to happen is maybe, he's going to try, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think the big question for people who watched last season was why is he defending it?
Yeah, that's kind of the big thing. Why is he, I don't know.
Is this a kind of, sanctity thing, or is to defend Jon Snow's body just because he doesn't want people to destroy it, or is there something else going on?
That's what I'm wondering. Is there something else going on?
Oh, by the way, spoiler alerts for season 5.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
If you don't know by now,
come
on.
Yeah.
We do get to see the new Red Priestess in the trailer.
Yes.
Which at first I was like, what's Melisandre doing in Marine? And then I looked closer and I was like, oh, that's a different person entirely.
It's probably Jaqen H'ghar again.
Oh my gosh, I just want to say, all I see when I look at Jaqen H'ghar is Nick Kroll.
Oh yeah, I totally do see that.
You will see it from now on.
Oh, that's horrible.
And then I just imagine Nick Kroll doing all of that, and it's pretty great.
The douche.
That makes sense though, because on Kroll's show he plays so many different characters.
He's actually really
the man has no face.
He does have no face. Oh gosh, this is horrible.
It's not.
It's not. It's
accept
good.
it.
Just accept it. That's awesome.
But I think that's why I like him so much, is because, like, inherently I think he's funny, even though he's not.
That's really great. But I guess, because I feel like we could talk about Game of Thrones all day. Like,
yeah,
we seriously
will
could.
probably do that for, like, an entire episode sometime.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we have Game of Thrones is in 1 week, so we are all super pumped. And actually, at the end of this show, we're going to be doing our little Deadpool thing we talked about last week. But once Game of Thrones starts up, we're going to be doing weekly recaps on the episode, like our feelings, where we think it's going, because this is the first year where we're kind of walking in blindly into it. So it's a whole new world, a dazzling place that we never knew. So it's going to be it's going to be really exciting.
With our enemy's blood.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're gonna go into that more. So let's hit the other trailers a little bit, especially Doctor Strange, because this is our first look at it. Other than, you know, some images of Benedict Cumberbatch like running down New York streets. So, what do you guys think?
I don't know a ton about Doctor Strange.
Me neither.
I think you kind of talked about how you kind of really liked Ben Affleck when he first started as Batman. The internet hated him, and you were kind of right in the end how you felt. I felt like that about Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I think that people really kind of hated on it. I was a big fan, and it looks like he's going to be pretty awesome. I don't know. I think that's kind of the general consensus. We'll see how he is. But.
Because I was definitely on the opposite side of it this time. I was like I was pro Ben Affleck, and I ended up being right. I was anti Benedict Cumberbatch just because he's in everything. You know what I mean? Like he's.
You're just being a hipster about it. Is really all I'm saying.
No, okay, but like. I just think he's okay. He's okay. He's a good Sherlock, but he's a little overrated sometimes. And so yeah, I am. I can't back myself out of this hipster thing that I've pushed myself into. But I don't know. But now that I'm seeing more of him, he looks so cool, and the outfit is so good. So what do you guys think?
The main thing I want to talk about is that it seems like he was just like, "Hey, Hugh Laurie, who taught you how to speak English in American style? Because I want to sound like you in this movie."
Oh yeah,
he's found very gruff. He's like Dr. House for magic.
For the magical Dr. House.
Andrew and I actually talked about that at one point, and it does look like he's going with an American accent. So I'm excited to hear him speak more. That'll be interesting.
I know like nothing about Doctor Strange at all. I really like Benedict Cumberbatch's salt and pepper hair going on.
Yeah, his little.
I'm into it. I like that kind of Peter Baelish-esque.
Oh, but but he doesn't talk like this all the time.
Baelish's voice. Like, I know he's kind of a creep, but I like it. Anyway, we'll talk about Game of Thrones again later, sorry. But, the trailer looks good, but, I mean, I'm not, like, 100% in yet. I didn't watch it, and I was like, yes! I was like, alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the whole open your mind thing, I was like, maybe they should have just got Keanu Reeves to be like...
He would.
Oh, Tilda Swinton. I love her. That's all I have to say. Like, anything Tilda Swinton is in, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I think she's going to be good.
She looked really cool in it, too. I was on board. So, and then I guess let's kind of touch on Fantastic Beasts, too, because I know there are a lot of Harry Potter fans out there. This one is set in America. It's set in the 20s, so it's a completely different time and place, which is obviously like basically reiterating what I just said, but it's going to be kind of interesting, I think that they wanted to set it in America, but they couldn't do it in America modern day because it doesn't have that like old like aesthetic to it like England does, which is why it's back in the 20s, which I know J.K. Rowling like wrote the book or whatever, but I think that's why it's in the 20s is to make it seem like that old almost steampunky thing and have it be kind of natural. Like weird jazz age, like golden. Yeah.
So that way they could make it seem like Harry Potter, but keeping it in this, you know.
Yeah.
I really like that aesthetic. Harry Potter is really popular, but it's popular because of the characters, and I don't know if the universe has that much draw for this to be as successful as they're hoping for.
You know, and like one thing that I was kind of a little, just like a last point to make about it really, they used the Harry Potter theme in it, like the do-do-do-do, and I was like, I don't think I'm okay with that. Like, you should have come up with your own theme. To me, that represents Harry Potter, Ron, and Hermione, and like it should be used for them.
I agree.
Just because it's in the same wizarding universe, to me, that is the definitive Harry Potter song. You are not talking about Harry Potter.
Come up with your own catchy theme.
Yeah.
I mean,
make it special.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was in a different key, so they were just trying to ode back to it, but also modified it.
At one point, it was in a different key. At the end, when they do the title scene, it's not. It's seriously just the same song. And so that kind of ended up being weird for me. But we're going to wrap up trailer talk now. Alright, next up, we're going to talk about something a little more controversial. Back in 2014, Ghost in the Shell was announced. It's based off of a manga that was turned into a 1995 film. And it was kind of interesting that they were like, we're going to pick this up, we're going to do a live action version. And then they made the fatal flaw of casting Scarlett Johansson as the main character. And that might seem like an okay thing to do until you realize that the entire film is set in Japan and the Major, who she's playing, is supposed to be a Japanese woman. So this is, like I said, this came out in 2014 and it was kind of a big deal then. They just released the first image of her as the Major. And I know that all of us have seen that. So what do you guys think?
You seem like you want to say something.
Well, I mean, 2014 is way, later than the whole whitewashing, I feel like, thing came about when people started realizing, hey, it's not okay to cast white people as not white people in movies.
Yeah.
So it's why? We're more progressive than that. It's 2014 at the time. Now it's 2016, why are we doing this?
Yeah, when you know better, you should do better, basically.
Yeah.
So it's... I don't know.
I feel like it's taking away opportunity for a Japanese person to, make it big in movies. We could cast a brilliant actress to do it who's not already so famous in America.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things, too, is there was actually a petition back in 2014 asking them to recast it. And they brought up the statistic that in movies, speaking parts, 5% of them are Asian. That go to an Asian actor or actress. Only 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing. I think that if they were going to reimagine the movie set in America or whatever, I don't know if that's even what's going on, even then, they wouldn't have to do whitewash the cast. Obviously we have Asian people living here.
Yeah.
That's not a thing that has to happen. So, that being said, there are Asian people in the cast. I looked it up, and they're all minor characters, and that just kind of leaves a really bad taste in my mouth about the whole thing. It's they're being oh yeah, we do have them on the cast, but we're just gonna kind of...
But they're playing this, random police officer that appears in a hallway at one point and says 3 lines throughout the movie, so...
Well, and I feel like it's not even a problem just in Ghost in the Shell. I mean, obviously that's a great example because it is set in Japan, but, look at Gods of Egypt, which is going to be an awful movie anyway, but
Did it come out already?
Did it? Is it already out?
Yes, it came out.
Who cares? Oh my gosh.
But it's when we watched The Mummy the other day and we looked at it, we're okay, so there's one Middle Eastern guy in this entire movie. Are you for real?
It was the 90s.
It was the 90s. It was a very simple time.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been, but it was.
Being mildly racist was okay, apparently. That's fine. But...
Through the years.
Yeah. Well, I can think of 2 reasons why they want Scarlett Johansson to be on the movie.
Wow.
2 reasons, Thomas?
2 reasons.
I wonder
how
what
about you name
they
them
could be.
She's a great actress, and she really hasn't gotten her own movie as Black Widow, so she's free.
Oh, see, I was going more vulgar with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's you.
He got you.
I am the problem.
Welcome to my life. He just traps me in those things.
I know. No, okay, though, I agree with Emily. I think that, for me, I would rather see a Daisy Ridley type girl from Japan rise up and take on this role.
Like a newcomer.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need star power. Yeah. There's such an emphasis on star power in movies, this will sell because we have this person in it. I feel like that's how all of Marvel movies are cast. They're just who is the most famous person we could possibly squeeze into this role?
Well, it's really backwards thinking, too. That's more of almost 50s era thinking of the movie star.
Yeah.
The movie star.
But I mean, clearly, Star Wars had a ton of newcomers.
Yeah.
And look at how
Star Wars,
successful
Lord
it
of
is.
the Rings had a lot of newcomers.
Yeah.
Clearly, to me, that's the way to go.
People want to see their characters. They don't care who's playing them that much. Look at Spider-Man. Tom Holland wasn't all that well known.
That's
before
true.
that.
I have to give kudos to Marvel for that one.
People are really excited about that. It's good. I don't want Tobey Maguire to come back or whatever the other guy's name was. Andrew Garfield.
Come back.
Some of the difference with Star Wars is it had its own name power going behind it. Ghost in the Shell, they have the anime, the manga fans. They're trying to do a live action adaptation of this, And like you said, who knows? Even with this film adaptation, maybe they're moving into America. That begs the question: why are they doing that in the first place? This whole thing already seems like a mess. So they're trying to get something for people to latch onto. What do they have? Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. And that actually is a really good point, because the movie, the title itself, while like kind of a cult classic, it's not a big name. Mm-hmm. So that is a really good point. And then the last thing that I do want to talk about, because we are running out of time on this one, is, and this is a speculation, and that's kind of why I just want to address it and not necessarily talk on it, because I don't want to feed into something that's not true, is there is a rumor from somebody who used to work at the company that they were actually using video editing software over the actors to make them look slightly more Asian. And if that is a true rumor, that is despicable, and that is a huge problem. And like, how do you reach the point in filming something and in post-production being like, we are so set on not casting Asian actors, but we know it's vital, so we're going to like give people a chance to play the part. Like, that's ridiculous.
You gotta know that software is expensive.
Yeah.
And also, at the same point,
program that. Like,
paying Scarlett Johansson to play a part versus some newcomer, you're just gonna like lose money anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
they would have had to have somebody programming this with like a very like good understanding of old timey racism that could just like
oh my
be
god.
like, I know exactly how to fix this solution.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. It's just a bad situation all over.
Yep.
So, on to the next thing. And our next topic is Marvel movies. This week we had 2 announcements and one kind of sorta announcement. It seems like it's going to happen. Pretty much confirmed, but we'll get on to that, or move on to that in a second. So Spider-Man Homecoming, which I feel like is met with mutual joy around the world. I mean, Nah? Oh, you know what? I was going to say all 3 of them and then go into it, but let's go into it now.
oh, I just like am not a Spider-Man person.
Why?
Just a big old nerd.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
What does that mean?
Peter Parker's
Peter
the
Parker's
big
just
old...
a big old nerd. No, I just like don't.
See, okay,
Andrew's about to throw the camera at you.
I feel like this goes on with our running theme of like Emily not liking the good people. She's always just like, she's like totally pro Flash. Like, just wants Peter Parker to get bullied.
I don't know. Okay, no, this is really what it is. It's like, how many Spider-Mans do we need? And I'm like raising my voice because it makes me really angry. It's like, a movie needs to be like the movie to have an impact. It's like Tobey Maguire. Okay, cool. First Spider-Man of forever. And then like Andrew Garfield, like just a few years later. And it's like, what? Oh, okay. Like, fine. And then it's like, now a new guy. Who knows? Like, I can't do it. There needs to be more time between, because then I just don't care.
Well, then question, because I did not hear you voice this concern with Batman.
I do kind of have this concern with Batman.
You just didn't voice it.
I just didn't voice it. I'm like, okay, because Batman, like, my favorite Batman really in the world is like the Mr. Freeze Poison Ivy Batman. But I know that it's bad, but I love it. So like George Clooney was my first
Andrew,
Batman.
Can we get like a Emily's cred meter just like plummeting on the side of the screen?
Okay, back to the topic though.
Yes.
That was my first Batman, was George Clooney, right?
Yeah.
Love him. He rules. I know that that's bad. I'm okay with that. Then the Christopher Nolan series, and I know that you have your thing about it, but I really, 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 really love the Christopher Nolan series. Christian Bale was the Batman that I had in high school through college, so he's kind of like my primary Batman. Ben Affleck did good, but he's not my primary Batman. But I like Batman more than Spider-Man as a person, so I'm kind of okay with them rebooting it. Whereas like Spider-Man, I just don't really care about that much.
And so honestly,
I'm like, why?
I think the title's kind of lame. Like Homecoming, I think it's kind of lame.
It's like it's just not winning me over.
We know so little about it right now.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to know more.
Yep.
I think that, you know.
And we'll get our first look at him here in a month, and that's going to be kind of exciting. And maybe it'll get us more on board. I don't know.
I think I'm just like an unarbitrary like Spider-Man hater. You know, I'm just like, whatever.
Well, I mean, it's not your fault, because we really did get inundated with Spider-Man movies, and it's all because Sony was like, oh crap, we have to do something with this.
You
so
haven't
we have to
even
get back
seen
the
The
rights.
Amazing Spider-Man, which, like, you know,
So,
4 people saw it, so that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't see it because I was angry because I was like, we just had Spider-Man. Why would I go see this?
But but Sony was like, we have to do something. Let's churn out a movie so that we can say that we're still working with this.
Well, it was part of their contract. They lose the rights if they don't release a movie
That's
every
what
so
I'm
often.
saying. They just had to do it.
So that's like why this is just going to be run into the ground and it's going to be a pile of poop. I mean, what?
Well, I mean, we'll see. Marvel has a lot of work ahead of them to try to salvage this.
Well, I mean, what I've
franchise.
seen from Marvel's Spider-Man so far is that it looks like crap. Sorry, not sorry. Get it together, Marvel.
Boom. Whoa.
Wow, really strong stance on a movie that we know
Fired.
nothing about.
All right. Well, you know what? I feel like it's gonna flip this time because the next movie we had announced was Deadpool 2, and I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't even start off this discussion. Let's have somebody who has positive feelings about Deadpool say something.
I really liked the first movie. Like, he's not my favorite superhero, but it did what it wanted to do. It told. I thought it was a decent comedy. It had decent action, and I actually kind of like. I liked how they kind of avoided the typical origin story, and kind of told a little bit of a frame story around it. So, with the second movie, I think they can kind of throw off the shackles of being an origin story a little bit and kind of do something a little more unique. And I think they were able to do what they set out to do with the first movie. I know that you weren't a big fan, but you also just don't like Deadpool in general. So
Yeah.
You like more serious superhero stuff.
To me, Deadpool, I liked the soundtrack.
It's
I thought
like
the soundtrack was
Deadpool,
cool.
I feel like, is like an anti-superhero.
He is an anti-hero.
You know?
See,
It's like
I'm
the-
so traditional. I am.
Yes,
I'm like very much
you
like
are-
I want this guy to save my life and be a dashing hero and a little broody and like that's
that's
like
just
well,
not what
actually,
it is.
got Games with Gold, Saints Row 4 for free today. How do you feel about Saints Row 4?
I also think that's stupid.
Because
He
that
told
is
it,
the
like, while he was
Deadpool
playing
of
it,
video
he was
It
games.
is the Deadpool.
He was like,
Yeah.
Jessica would hate this.
Always,
I
it's,
think it's
everything's a
dumb.
big joke.
Yeah.
See, and
They
that's
poke
what I
fun at
don't
stuff.
like. No, like I want my heroes to be actual heroes. To me, Deadpool, nothing happened. It was boring. I didn't laugh once.
But
I
like
thought,
they're not trying to be heroes. Like it's not trying to be that.
But it's like I don't know. I just think that it's like it's so stupid. I don't get the jokes. I don't think it's funny. It's like to me, it's just like okay, you're crass and like you think that you're being intelligent by writing and like you know shitting all over other comic book movies.
I think
we
it's
can
pretty
bleep that
funny.
out. But
I think
just,
it's pretty funny because it doesn't take itself too seriously.
It doesn't.
That being
I don't think it's
said,
really
like I was
intelligent.
kind of disappointed with some aspects of it. Like I was like, that was really stupid. But I thought overall it was generally pretty funny.
I feel like I guess the vibe that I get is that it thinks it's better than comic book movies because it's so anti-comic book, and it's like no, you're worse, you're trash. Sorry, bye Deadpool.
I don't think that's what it's trying to do.
No, I
it's
don't
poking
either.
fun at the tropes that come up all the time in different comic movies and different things, but it's not trying to be like, oh, you suck because of this. It's like, hey, this is funny, this happens. Like it's a big inside joke. Is what it's trying to do.
It's not my kind of humor. I think it's just like, ugh. It puts
Different strokes for different folks.
I know, like I saw it in theaters and I was like, why did I spend money on this? I knew what I was getting into.
Oh.
But anyway, we're gonna go on to the next thing though. It's still part of this. Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oh, thank God! I love the second movie. So good. Best Marvel movie.
That was gonna be my thing. Is like, oh, we haven't seen the second movie. Why do I even need to talk about or care about the third?
Yeah.
I think it's good to know that in some way after Infinity War, there's going to be some cohesion with what we already know as the Marvel cast, because it looks like there's going to be a big transition after that.
Yeah.
Having the Guardians of the Galaxy still be around is kind of comforting, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. I agree with that. And I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy is like their safest thing. It doesn't isolate anybody the way that I feel Deadpool does, but it's not like your typical superhero movie like any of the main Avengers kind of are. So I think that Guardians is like a funny, lighthearted, but still heartfelt. I think it's just the whole package. So I'm really excited that that's something that they're thinking we're going to bring this back.
The first time I watched it, I really didn't like it, the first one. But I liked it, but like not that much. And I think I need to watch it again. I feel like I would
Yeah.
like it more now for whatever reason.
And it could just be one of those things.
Sometimes I just need to watch something 3 or 4 times and then I like it.
Because
Yeah.
you see things that you don't see the first time.
Yeah.
There's a lot to catch and bring in. So.
I think I have really high expectations for everything.
I think that like I will probably watch Deadpool one more time in my life. I will give it one more shot because I saw it in theaters and like the whole time I was just like cringing because I didn't like it. So I'm gonna try one more time and be a little more open, but I'm not expecting anything to really change. So
You sitting in your chair
You
just like,
just listen. You just can't expect Deadpool to be Bruce Wayne or Batman.
Alright, and then this week we're ending our show a little bit differently than we normally do. We're introducing a new way of doing our news, and this is going to be for all of the stuff that we don't really want to get into as much as our other topics, but we still want to make sure you guys know what's going on. So we're doing 2-minute topics, and what that is we're going to have about 6 different topics, and we're going to give them 2 minutes of attention each. And yeah, it's just going to be a brief way to kind of hit on some new subjects. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is Game of Thrones. Might be ending sooner than we think. So season 7, 7 episodes, season 8, 6 episodes, and then a 13th episode that's going to be kind of a standalone thing.
Can I just say, like, the thing that I'm kind of most bummed out about that is, like, we're not going to have, like, the episode 9 drama anymore. Like, that's kind of like a Game of Thrones tradition.
That's a good point.
That kind of sucks.
You're so right.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bummer.
Instead, we'll have episode 6 and episode 5 drama.
So, like, episode 9 is going to be... This is going to be the last one this season, so they better make it good.
You know, I feel like there is going to be, like, with all of the drama I've seen in the trailer, there's definitely potential for it to be really good.
I'm just not ready. I'm not ready to let go.
But...
Got a few years yet.
Question, no, I don't want to. No, I want more forever.
Is it better to go out with a bang than a whimper, though?
I mean, yes, but I feel like Game of Thrones has so much more that it can do.
No, I think that... I mean, there's 2 books left, and they're going to be going, like...
There's only 2 books left?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
I mean, supposedly, George Martin's going to die, like, next year before this book is published, so...
I'm just not ready. Emotionally, I'm not ready. I'm sorry. Like, it doesn't... I mean, whether or not I think it should go out or not, I'm just not ready.
Yeah.
I'm going to have, like, a crisis when it ends. It's going to be very emotional. There will be lots of crying. There will be lots of macaroni and cheese.
Well, Maisie Williams has said that this season is going to really set up everyone's kind of ending arcs here, so...
yeah, I think that we are reaching a point where it's natural for it to end. I mean, we've had 50 episodes of this so far. So for me, it's like, I'm going to be sad to see it leave, but I think it's ready. You know, like, we still have a few more years, too. You know, I don't.
Sad to see it leave, love to watch it go.
There's so much they could do, but if they keep going, it's just everybody's gonna be dead.
No, like, yeah. I think it will be good. Like, you know, it'll make, like, the storyline good.
Oh,
whatever.
we have hit 2 minutes. So you know what? With this segment, we cut people off. You are cut, Emily.
It's just myself that I'm not ready.
Cut.
Next topic we're going to talk about is Batman solo film. Officially announced. I wanted to give this a little bit less time than we've been giving DC lately because DC has been taking over the entire world lately. But I still wanted to talk about it because this was something we thought was going to happen and now it is officially confirmed. Thoughts?
There's been rumors that it's going to follow the Under the Red Hood storyline.
Oh.
I think that would be cool, especially given kind of the teasing of it a little bit in BVS. Kind of making it more of a prequel to Batman vs. Superman, showing Batman on his own a little bit. Because there's like several years, I don't want to say exactly how many because maybe that's a spoiler to some people. But yeah, there's a lot of Batman history that we can go into in this timeline, so that'd be cool.
I'm kind of like, I think the biggest thing I'm worried about is they have Ben Affleck scheduled, and now it's like even going on past 2019 or 2020. But he's supposed to be doing movies until 2020, and he's, I mean, not in any bad way because I think he's a total fox, but he's an older guy. So it's like, how are they going to be doing prequel stuff? How are they going to be doing him, like, doing this for the next, you know, potentially 6-7 years when he's already in his 40s? So, like,
That's not that old.
No, I know it's not that old, but it's old to be playing a young, like, I mean, he's not young. I don't know. For prequel stuff, if they have him when he's supposed to be like in his 20s or 30s, he doesn't look like he's in his 20s or 30s.
They'll make him look like
maybe
he's
like
in his
15
20s
years he'll be
30s.
Batman and just wear the mask.
It's like amazing what they can do
They
with
gotta
makeup
get-
and CGI. Like,
That's
honestly,
true.
it really is.
I don't want to see a CGI Ben Affleck.
Oh my
They
God.
gotta
I don't
call up
mean,
the
like-
people from Ghost in the Shell to make the
I don't
Asian
mean
thing
a
and make
full,
a young
like,
person
CGI
face.
Scarlett
Ben Affleck
Johansson's
is like-
gonna be Batman. It's gonna be so controversial, guys.
Oh,
my
man.
Okay, I just want to say, like, I feel like they should have done a Batman solo film before Batman vs. Superman. I feel like that would have been better, so I'm excited to see the Batman solo film because I feel like I missed out on that and I just got, like, Batman thrown in my face when I wasn't ready for it.
Guess what? You chopped
All right.
again!
Yep, 2 minutes, we're done. It's gonna always end on Emily. Let's see if this is a trend that continues.
I don't like that. I like to have the last laugh.
Alright, so next up, Red Dead Redemption map leak. And Thomas, you actually wrote an article about that, so do you want to kind of start us off?
Yeah, so there was a map leak, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't look super official, but we'll see.
That makes it sound like some sort of natural disaster. Like there was a map leak.
Yeah, map leak.
The building was evacuated.
No, it looks interesting though because the map for not the original, but Red Dead Redemption, which is the sequel to another game, Red Dead Revolver, but the map for that game was just kind of mostly along the Mexico-American border of the fictional universe that Rockstar has, and a little bit of Great Plains stuff there too. This game, if this map is real, it looks like it's going to be more of a have all kinds of different stuff, all the way to the East Coast possibly.
It looked very East Coast. Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this looks like Virginia, right? Which is kind of
weird. There was a segment. There's an area of the map called Roanoke Ridge, I think.
Yeah.
Which, based off Roanoke Island, Virginia, would be really interesting. But there's also a Great Plains section in the west. So I don't know if this is just going to be a huge game.
That's kind of what...
It's probably going to be sectioned off with fast travel sort of situation. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how they did with Assassin's Creed, where you can go different spots, like you go to Boston or New York or wherever else.
That's possible. That would be something new for Rockstar, though. Usually their games are all more combined to one map.
Yeah, usually it's just...
But I don't see how they could feasibly have the entire continental United States of variety.
That would be pretty bizarre.
What was the game that did that? Was it Forza? That was saying that they had... I think it was Forza.
There has been talk about a Grand Theft Auto game spanning all of the United States. So I wonder if maybe that, it's a shot in the dark at this point.
This reminds me of the topic you guys are talking about where Gameswell is just like this massive maps.
Well, No Man's Skies would be far bigger than just the United States.
5 seconds.
Yeah. 5 seconds? Oh, we're just going to cut it off now then, so no one's cut off. So next topic, guys, Alden Ehrenreich, and I got that name right this time, so I'm very proud of myself, is frontrunner for Han Solo.
No.
Oh, why no?
He doesn't look like Han Solo. He doesn't look like Harrison Ford. He doesn't look like him at all.
Yeah.
I'm mad about it.
Well, I mean, when it comes to acting, how important do you think the look is? Because I know he is an established character. But...
I think because he's an established character, the look is very important. If this was a new character, I'd be like, whatever, who cares? But Harrison Ford is iconic Han Solo. Yeah. He needs to look like Han Solo.
Now keep in mind, they could hire the programmers from Ghost in the Shell to make a program.
I knew someone was going to say it.
Make him look like Han Solo, maybe a little bit Asian too, who knows?
So far, we need these Ghost in the Shell people to do an Asian one, a younger one for Ben Affleck, and then also a Han Solo one.
I feel like Thomas would make a better Han Solo than this guy.
We just get him to go extra young and bring Harrison Ford back again.
Ooh, there we go. That would be pretty... I doubt he would do it, but, I don't know. I think that he was pretty final with how he wanted to go.
Or they could just cut scenes in.
Technology is there yet.
They can cut in Indiana Jones scenes and just...
Oh my gosh. Oh, that is great.
Cool.
Just all made entirely from Indiana Jones scenes with Han Solo outfit kind of put on them. Han Solo is just really afraid of snakes for no reason.
I would understand
Space snakes grabbed him in the...
I feel like being afraid of snakes is a very rational fear.
Oh, so Thomas here. Is that your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is probably a little more existential, but...
But is that your biggest,
earthly fear?
Earthly fear, yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
Because
mine too.
Yeah, me and Emily are both...
Oh, I didn't know yours too.
Oh, deadly afraid of snakes.
Scared to death of cobra snakes.
I will freak out at any snake, garter snakes, whatever. Even none of them.
See, I guess I can't really give you crap for being irrational because I hate spiders. And those are tiny.
I can deal with spiders so I can kill them with my foot, but a snake you can't kill with your foot.
That's true. So I feel like we've very much got off the track. Oh no, I'm chopped. Oh, okay. Well, all I was gonna say is we got off topic there, but that's okay because that's pretty much all we had to say about that. Next up, and this is kind of a bummer for Xbox One owners, which I think is only Thomas, and you don't own The Division.
Wow.
So The Division, they just released an update, and this update is erasing all of people's beloved characters that they have spent the last few weeks building up.
That really sucks. I do have Rock Band 4, and they did some similar stuff with that, with I think it was the February patch actually erased everybody's online scores. And the game at that point had been out for months.
That's pretty crazy.
Months.
Yeah.
So I do not like that. I think, I get that there are game-breaking glitches that can happen, and it sucks that people get really good scores because of that, but there's other people out there doing it legitimately, and maybe they're not going to be able to replicate what they did at one point just because they had a really good day or something,
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
No, I completely agree. So if I were playing that game, especially because it's a new game, so that means that a lot of people are playing it right now. And if you put that much time in there, you have all this character that you're playing with your friends, and then all of a sudden you get on one day to play with your friends, and you're like, hey guys, I was going to play with you, but I don't have a character anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine how much of a punch to the gut that would be.
I would probably call Microsoft and just ream them.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's happening.
I could do it. I would be like, put me through to the president.
Let's just combine your hatred for Spider-Man and mine for Deadpool and just unleash anger on Microsoft to get it out.
That would be pretty intense.
Pretend you had a Division save that got deleted.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't played Destiny in a year, but I might pick it up at some point again. But if my character was to be deleted, absolutely I would never touch the game again.
Yeah.
There's no point at that point. I don't want to build it up again.
Mm-hmm.
It's an even worse version of that feeling whenever your game crashes and you haven't saved in a long time. it used to, that's such
Because
an
it's
old thing.
Because someone else did it,
yeah,
not you.
It's not
Right.
your problem. It's someone else's problem.
Yeah.
I would be you owe me a year of Xbox Gold free.
I know.
That's what I would
Yeah,
say.
they probably
do that
should.
sometimes.
Oh, cut. I wasn't even the one who was talking primarily, Dan.
You both were talking. It went across the boat.
Star pants. Or space pants. That's what it is. Not star pants.
My pants
All
are
right.
full of the soul.
And so that wraps us up for all of our topics today. The next thing that we are going to do, though, is the Game of Thrones Deadpool.
Don't get mad. I know it's called Deadpool.
Trigger word.
I'm trigger word.
So
worded.
triggered.
I'm so triggered, guys. Okay, but yeah, so
Your
we're
neighbors
going
are
to.
probably what is going on?
I feel like they think that all the time, especially because okay, so you guys know our theme song, obviously, because you watch this video. Whenever we're editing videos, it plays constantly because we have to keep going back and checking. So it's all of a sudden, and I'm oh my god, our neighbors probably think I'm this techno psychopath.
She loves this song so much.
I
But
know.
just this one song.
But just this one song and only 10 seconds of it. But anyway, it's a great song. Thank you,
best.
Spencer.
The best.
You're a guy. So anyway, we are going to go on to our Game of Thrones Deadpool now. So cue music. Alright, so I have the paper containing everybody's Deadpool selections, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through this. We obviously don't have David, Andrew, Taylor, or Tony here tonight, so we're just going to go ahead and read for them.
One of those names might be new to our viewers.
Yes, yeah, David is definitely a new name for our viewers, and we're still working on getting his avatar and getting him set up on the About Me and in the video. But he is our new staff writer. You probably won't see him in very many videos because he doesn't live close to us, so he's not really within range of the studio. But yeah, you can definitely expect to see his name attached to some awesome articles, posting stuff on our Facebook and Twitter. And we're really, really excited, just all of us, thrilled to have him aboard. So if you're David, if you're watching David, hey! But
holla.
yeah, holla. That's our shout out. And I guess let's get this thing started then.
Yes.
So I'm going to read for Taylor first. Taylor's selections for the Game of Thrones Deadpool are Loras Tyrell, Ramsay Bolton, and Maester Pycelle. Anybody have anything to say about that? Just want to get on move on?
I feel like Pycelle just might die of old age at some point,
Yeah.
which is awesome
Of
if you
just
live
being
in
run down.
Westeros.
Yeah, that really
that's
is.
an accomplishment.
I don't think Ramsay will die because it's too satisfying to see him die.
They gotta drag him on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I
Just
think
make
so.
me hate him even more.
I don't even know if I could, but maybe. I just remember in last
He's alright.
season, the whole dog chasing scene where the dogs just eat a part of the girl.
Yeah.
That was one of and I mean obviously we saw somebody's head crushed in season 4. So but that to me was still something where I was I don't want to see it, don't want to hear it, and you only heard it, you didn't even see it, and it was gross. So I pretty much hated Ramsay pretty hard after that, and it just built up. So, and yeah, I'm gonna pass this, and we can go to Tony's.
I'll read for Tony. She thinks that Tommen Baratheon is going to kick the bucket. Davos Seaworth is going to be pushing daisies. And Sir Jorah Mormont is going to
Gotta find a euphemism.
die. And Tommen is a good guess. we'll see maybe later. I don't know. Maybe I thought that was a good guess too.
Yeah.
Davos would be just devastating.
I would be so sad.
Just based off the previews, I think he's going to be one of my favorite characters this season.
Yeah.
I think he's really going to step up his
Davos
game.
is one of my favorite characters in general. He's just such a good guy. But you know what?
He's an onion knight.
He
is
is.
an onion knight.
He has
humble.
layers.
Like he's a knight, but he's humble.
No,
He's
get
like,
out of here,
I'm not a
Thomas.
strawberry knight or like a tomato knight. I'm an onion knight.
Yeah, and Jorah seems kind of obvious right now, just with,
Yeah.
his condition, we'll say.
All the
Avoid
foreshadowing
spoilers,
they're trying to
so
throw in there for
We'll
him.
see.
Yeah. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones, you probably shouldn't be watching this. I mean,
turn
we
off
are.
the video, man.
Yeah, like we're talking about death, and obviously we're not gonna there's going to be people who have died who are not going to be on this list, and so I mean that I don't know. It shows you that these people are still alive, and we're talking a little bit in detail about stuff. So we're sorry that we didn't warn you beforehand. We thought the name kind of implies. If you haven't watched it, turn this off. So we're gonna continue.
Are you gonna read Andrew's?
Yes, I will read Andrew's. So, once again, we have Jorah showing up on the list here for Andrew. His next pick is Theon, and his last pick is Melisandre.
Theon and Melisandre, I don't think they're ones that we've really had other people mention to us. So.
Unless Ramsay's a great surgeon, I feel like Theon's timer's just ticking. At this point, he's gonna get some infection.
He's got something going on.
Yeah. Oh man, I could get I'm not gonna get vulgar. I could have, but we're just gonna keep breezing on by.
That's a good idea.
All right.
Thank you, David.
Yep.
So I'm doing David?
Yep.
Okay. David also says Theon. Which I'm not liking this. I didn't even think about it, and I'm like, no, I don't want Theon to die. But oh well.
I don't think
Theon
it's
has
Theon's
a lot
time.
to do here.
I'm not
Yeah.
in control of it. David also says Roose Bolton, which I disagree with as well. No.
I think
See.
Bruce is more likely to die than Ramsay.
I absolutely agree with that.
I do agree with that. And he says Hodor,
No,
which I
Hodor
am
says Hodor.
not okay with. Hodor wasn't even in last season. One time I was thinking about it and I was like, what am I missing? And it was Hodor. Hodor is what I was
You
missing.
have a lot of
That's what you're
feelings for
missing?
Hodor.
I do. I love him.
That's
He's
hilarious.
just he's the icing on
I
top.
feel like Thomas. Does this say negative things about you? How much she loves the tall doofus?
Thomas.
Just repeat it over and over.
Thomas?
So, okay.
You know what? Actually, Emily, just start with yours and we'll go back.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. So for my Deadpool, I said Dario Naharis. Because
Why do you say that?
Yeah.
I honestly, I just didn't even think about anything and I just went off of feelings. I was like, I bet Dario dies. I don't know why, but I feel like he's gonna die. I really can't say as to why.
It's just a feeling.
I just have I am very intuitive, I feel like, in my general life.
Yeah.
And Dario, High Sparrow, obviously because he
I think he's
spent
gonna
all
die.
season really screwing Cersei over, and now she's back in power. She's got the mountain Frankenstein thing going on.
It's
And,
a pretty good guess. I don't know if he's going to be maybe more of an endgame kind of villain for Cersei's storyline or not, but
We'll
I think,
see.
Yeah.
I
And
feel like she
also-
could really just crush him though.
Jamie's back too.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Jamie.
And we could have thought Joffrey was an endgame villain. Come on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's hard to tell.
And then my last choice is Gilly.
Okay.
And I love Gilly, but I think that it would be really heartbreaking to see her die.
And she and Sam are going to Old Town, so we don't know. We kind of know if you've read the books what's going on there. But even if you've read the books, you have seen very little of Old Town so far.
But
so.
I could see them killing her off and leaving Sam Tarly with little Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just a lovable character, so why not kill her?
Welcome to Game of Thrones.
Right?
So, for my predictions, I also think Roose Bolton because there's going to be a lot of fighting going on.
Yeah.
The Boltons are going to take some losses. I think Roose is going to get taken out, and Ramsay's going to be like, I'm the heir of the thing now because I've been a legitimate heir. So, yeah, he's going to do all that.
Very good impression.
That's right. He's going to go be sadistic elsewhere.
I mean, he kind of does sound like a little goblin, so.
Yeah. Next pick is Alistair Thorne. He was half a mastermind in some crap that went down at the wall, so I think he is going to get his comeuppance
Yeah.
Very satisfying if that happens.
Yes. And lastly, Robin Aaron, because no one cares about him.
Almost more satisfying if that happens.
Yeah.
Little bastard.
I really want Robin Aaron to make himself fly.
The last of the Aaron line.
From dehydration.
Oh God.
Lost his main source of fluids.
Oh man.
What did I say? I said Tom and Baratheon. I think they kind of mentioned in the trailer, spoilers, whatever. We did that thing already. Yeah. Clearly Cersei wants him to kind of lead the fight here. Also with the whole the prophecy that Cersei's children all have to die. Tommen doesn't have a lot going for him right now. I think he's gonna die soon. I also said Daario Naharis too, just because I feel like he's kind of the flip side to Jorah's coin, at least in the show right now. And Jorah just seems kind of like the obvious pick here. And they don't always do the obvious thing, so I think Daario might actually go, and Jorah might survive this season, but we'll see. That's just kind of me going against the grain there a little bit to see what happens. I also said Walder Frey, not because there's 40 of them. I specifically mean Professor Filch Walder Frey, just because there's a lot.
I don't think Filch is a professor.
Well, yeah.
I think he's more of a Mr. Filch.
Well,
no title involved. Janitor Filch.
Maybe he got a honorary doctorate or something at some point, but
Squib Filch.
That Frey.
He's a squib, isn't he? I don't even know if they mentioned that in the movies. But
No, they don't.
He's a squib. He can't really use magic.
Which is so sad.
It is.
He's actually kind of a nice guy.
What a depressing thing to put yourself around, though. If you couldn't use magic, why would you want to work at a wizarding school? It's a constant reminder of my failure.
Maybe
I love seeing all these 12-year-olds do what I cannot.
Got to take night classes for free or something.
Maybe.
Well, back when they had the dungeons and screaming,
he
got to hang up all these little young prospect children in detention.
Oh,
take out his
kind of a
pain on them.
vindictive thing.
Yeah, there we go. That's some good thinking.
But anyway.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
So, yeah, he just, he's going to get his own this season, I think. And it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, so I'm sure I can guess what you're thinking right now. Wow, Jessica, this is a very unusual and abrupt ending to a subtrending show. And the reason why it looks like this is because during the whole post-production process of trying to get the footage edited and ready for it to come out today, we ended up actually losing the last couple minutes of our Game of Thrones segment, which was also kind of serving as the wrap-up for the whole show. So I'm just going to really quick go ahead and give you my picks for the Game of Thrones Deadpool and just kind of wrap it up a little bit. So I'm sorry this is so awkward and abrupt. I thought it would be better to end it like this than to just leave you guys hanging and to not say what my votes were. So for mine, I went with very obvious choices just to stay kind of safe. So for me, I put Tom and Baratheon. And basically the reason for choosing that is because of the prophecy. I think that that's probably going to be fulfilled this season. And I picked, now I have to think, Jorah, because grayscale. So, like I said earlier, we kind of mentioned that spoilers are going to be a thing, so I'm sorry if that ruins anything for you, but I am assuming that you've seen the show and you know that he has grayscale. So I'm thinking that that could be a factor. And what I'm actually more thinking is that not necessarily grayscale is going to kill him, but it's kind of like that whole cliche zombie apocalypse situation where when somebody knows that they have been bitten by a zombie, or in this case, infected with grayscale, they end up being more okay with going on essentially suicide missions. So I'm thinking that Jorah is probably going to do something heroic and die that way, and some sort of heart-wrenching and very upsetting death, because I do love Jorah, so it is sad, but I think that that might happen. And then my last choice was actually Tormund Giant's Bane, and this one was kind of a little bit heart-wrenching too. Here at Subtrendy, we call him Big Red, and for some reason he's just one of our favorites, so I'm thinking he's going to be a wildling casualty up in the north. It's unfortunate, but I'm going with it. So those are my choices, and you heard everybody else's earlier, so I think we're good. Like I said, I apologize again about how awkward this wrap-up is, but thank you guys so much for bearing with us. Like, subscribe, visit our website, all of the usual things. Once again, thank you guys so much. You guys are all great, and I will see you next week.
It's so hard because you want to be sneaky, but at the same time, like, you really...
Taylor was very quiet, and also I heard her braids shift.